You were on the planet to do something amazing, and you may have awakened to that realization today or maybe yesterday because the world shifted. And that means that you're meant to do something more. And what I was meant to do was to bring in this pathway to the new world because that's what we're all doing now. Nothing is happening accidentally in our lives or in the world. We just figure it out at a different time. So yesterday, when I saw bombs were being dropped, I looked at the message that Wilhelm gave me for last year, and I said, okay, now I understand. And that's on my website, Any Advice for Today, and you'll see it. It says, the best time to release your old self would be now. That means each of us. We come in to do something, but sometimes we don't move there. We get stopped or we become afraid. And the more of us who become afraid and don't move, then we allow the world to take a different turn. But this is the time we're meant to change that. When I started doing Wilhelm in 1989, I had no idea what it was going to turn into, but it turned into a pathway to the new world. It turned into a philosophy that would have you live your best life, that would have you move through every restriction, every limitation that you've experienced in your life so that you could become joyous, happy, free, abundant. Now, it may not have felt that way to you, and especially now, but I can speak to that because I've lived through that. I'm 74. I've written it all down. And I've lived it, and because of it, I've healed and continuing to do so. And I know that that means I'm supposed to give it to you. But see, we can't create the new world without you. I couldn't do this by myself, and I held back as well. Last night I was having a conversation with my family, and they're kind of yelling at me because what are you doing? What is happening? Then I saw, oh, now I know. The bombs are dropping. It's time for us to move. It's time for us to do something. And that means you're supposed to love yourself. You're supposed to do the thing that you came to this earth to do, and it's within you, and I do know that. You see, I downloaded this philosophy and it was energetically aligned, which is why I know who you are. When I've said things like I was given information on your birthday, people found that challenging to believe, but it's exactly what happened because there's an energetic alignment with you, your DNA, and it is being activated now. But we do it collectively. You see, it depends on how many of us are going to remember who we are. And that is the energy that we would put into the world. But I had to move through all of my darkness as well. I had to move through all of my dark nights of the soul and everything else that you can possibly imagine, because there was no other way that I could have received this information, and there would have been no other way that I could prove that it works. So that's what I'm giving you on this Sunday. I'm giving you a gift because Wilhelm said, please write down all the messages so they can see the progression. We progress in our consciousness over time, linear time. I didn't receive information that way, but that is how, as humans, that's how we progress. We learn something and then we integrate it and then we reach a higher state of consciousness. Now, we do that individually, but then the more of us who do it, then collectively, then the world starts to reflect exactly what we're doing. All the division that we might see is division that has existed within us. So when we heal that, then the world has to look the same way. And so I'll show you the message, and I did a few other things for you just so you can get a sense of this. And it is this. We gave you the pathway to the new world. And we'll start here. We gave you the pathway to the new world. Today, our messenger has finally decided to tell you because that path must come through you and him. When you embrace your unique journey and become the empowered, happy, and abundant person that was in your divine plan, that new world will be manifested. Nothing in your life or world is accidental. We will reveal that order today. And so we go back to 2008, and many people might know that was another energetic cycle that we were moving through in our world. You might remember what might have been happening in your life. But the fact was, they gave me this information in order. And the first one is there is nothing more important for you on this life journey than following the agenda set out for you by yourself. And when they use self, it's in a capital and quotes because that is your self that is connected to source, that is connected to God, that is connected to all that is. And we each have it. Those of us who choose to remember, and that is not going to be everyone. And so you have to decide if it's you. But then what happens is they gave it in order. Now you'll see there's one year that was missing, and that's 2009. There was a reason for that for all of us. And you can think back to that year and it's explained in the analysis that I did as well. But then you'll go through it and you'll see that every single year you're coming to know more of yourself and why you are here and what your unique plan is because it takes time for us to accept that no matter when we might live and when whatever we were given to do. But then at the end of it, what you will see is a recording. Now it goes to the end. I'm just going to scroll through this so you can see all the years. And then you come here, and there is an analysis that I did for that analyze these messages and what they meant. They're energetic connections that happen with everything. We don't always understand that. People are always discovering new ways of figuring that out. I have never studied astrology or any of that, but I received the information from Wilhelm because it was connected to cosmic consciousness and it was also quantum physics, basically, that was giving me this information. But I didn't remember it all either. So here you will see this description where it breaks it down and it's really from awakening to embodiment and it's a blueprint for the new world. And it goes through why each year was what it was. And then the funny thing is, I was just, and again, this is attached to the message, so you will see that. But then the other thing is, there was a recording that was done, and they sent me back to it because everything was in order. The recording was done on June 21st of 2022, and you will see a reference to that in the message. Because what happens is I receive the information, I don't remember it. Even when I'm doing a channeling session, I don't remember it. I just know that it works. And if I go back to it, then it makes sense. That's how we all learn. That's how we all develop. But this is what I am doing now. I've talked about my program, and now people will understand. There is nothing that you can't achieve or accomplish when you get in touch with who you are, why you're here, and control of your consciousness. And when more of us do that, then we don't allow certain things to go on in our world that we feel we don't have any control or that we were becoming afraid. You will hear in the recording that Wilhelm said their main purpose in giving us this work so that we would move beyond our fear and doubt, which many may be experiencing today. But I had to do it, and I knew it yesterday. I had to look at the message, and you'll see I'm called out on it. And one of the things I'm called out on it, it says, Roger will always give away everything to everyone else and doesn't take care of himself. And that's what I'm changing now, which I've talked about so often, because I can't continue creating this work until I'm charging more money for it, because otherwise I'm creating this poverty cycle that many of us are still living in because we've allowed our consciousness to be controlled by big guys. Basically, that's what's happened. And that's what's moving in our world right now. So please enjoy all of this. Go through each message. You'll get so much value out of it because there are stories that are being told in there. And then also check out my program because, as I said, on Monday, well, Monday, the rate's still going to be the same on Monday. We're changing it on Tuesday. It's going to be completely different. And you'll see all the work that's going to be there because you own it forever. It guides you to the heights of your life. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what you've done or not done. There's an energetic pattern within you that's always evolving because we never stop as long as we're in these physical bodies, as long as we are alive. And so now it's time for me to get finished with it because I have so much to put in and I love working with people. Our groups are really fun. I mean, when we come together at groups, we feel more confident in what we're doing because when you're with like-minded people, it's much easier to move through this transition. You will see all of that in the messages. Wilhelm said this is the most transformative period of our history of the world. That's why it's been so challenging. But this work causes you to heal and become happy. I'm the demonstration of it because The things that I've moved through that seemed impossible were not. And that is the message that they gave us. They said, you're going to wake up today on this day. They gave us that and said, you're going to think things are impossible. And they said they are not, because it just means that each of us has to decide to take the next step into ownership of who we are. And that's what I had to do as well. Thank you so much for being here, and have a happy Sunday if you're happening to see it on Sunday or whenever you might see it. Please pass this on to others. And if it's your first time on my YouTube channel, please subscribe and share it with others. See you soon. Thanks.